It's time to kick off our 2023 HusKAL project. This year we're knitting a large wrap that can be worn as a scarf or connected to wear as a poncho. We're using Woolstok Light again from Blue Sky Fibers. You see I've chosen the traditional 4 HusKAL colors, but you can combine any colors that you would like. It does use the 4 colors. Gauge on this project, or approximate length and width of this project, is length of 63 inches and width of 17 approximately inches. The gauge, the pattern states that our gauge should be in a 4-inch square, 24 stitches and 36 rows equals a 4-inch square, and that's in garter stitch, so all knitting. It might be wise of you to check your gauge. I'm using a number 3. Recommended is a number 4. I'm a loose knitter, and so I definitely go down. But we want to ensure that you have enough yarn. And so it is wise to make sure to adjust your needle size according to your knitting style or your gauge. And lots of times we think that with a wrap, we don't have to check gauge, but it's not really a bad idea. We're going to cast on 106 stitches, and I'm going to show you loosely, and so this will be your edge, and so we don't want that to be tight, so I'll give you a little tip for that. A lot of people ask me, well, how do you know how much to leave for a long tail, just a traditional long tail cast on? You know, you can go 1 inch per stitch, so in this case it'd be 106 with a few more inches. Some people wrap it. I simply eyeball it. And so I'm going to pull out probably a good 3 yards and a little extra for good measure. Now, one of the things I like to do is I do not use a slip knot. So I simply start the yarn over my needle and I put my index finger on that loose yarn. Then I get my hands in position for the long tail cast on. And then I simply do that first stitch, and it just creates a nice little clean loop that doesn't have a little bump underneath. Now, one of the things that you can do to keep your cast on loose is to keep your fingernail or the pad of your index finger in between the stitches each time, so that you're creating a little bit of space there. Give it a little tug back and make another cast on with a little tug back, so that you're not scooching these up super tight. And this is going to be important because you want the edge, the beginning edge of your wrap, to remain the same width as the rest of your wrap. So I just keep my finger on these stitches, keep them pulled back a little bit before I make my next stitch, so that creates a little bit of space. In this first section, you're going to cast on the stitches, and then you're going to simply knit to create a garter stitch edge. We'll be back next week with a tutorial on the next section of our HusKAL.